Coming up on NBA Breakfast, Kevin Durant is back, looking like his NBA form again. The Kings 2-1, Cavaliers and Magic 3-0. Markelle Fultz putting up a crazy stat line. The Mavs in their 50-point win. That's right, 50 points. I said that correctly. Over the Clippers, who only scored 73 points. The Harden Chronicles continue to go. The rookies playing well. Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, battle for Rookie of the Year. And then we play the name game, a little game that Xavier likes to play. Do a college basketball update, and then we give out awards and games to watch for the following week. So here we go.
Posey will defend. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life. Taking one for the team here, protecting you. Oh my gosh! Look at the pain. Adier with the triple. Oh, and here comes the Birdman, flapping his wings and soaring for a sweet flush.
NBA Breakfast, Episode 2. Coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I'm Chris Madrigal. By way via Zoom is Xavier Gomez.
From hey, how do you do to everybody? What's going on?
Xavier, is it raining up in the city?
It's a beautiful morning and a wonderful day in San Francisco.
Oh, dude, I got woken up to the most insane thunderstorm last night. 5:30 a.m. I swear to God, like the lightning bolt must have just hit like right outside my window because I woke up to this loudest sound, the loudest crashing sound, like thunder sound I've ever heard in my life. Like it was insane. And then a bright flash. And then after that was just a lot of just thunder and lightning going on for the next hour, and I just couldn't go to sleep. It was very frustrating and annoying to listen to. And there's hail outside right now. Whoa.
You sure they aren't just making a new Thor movie by your house?
Yes, I'm sure. I would have seen some camera trucks or something outside. Maybe they've mastered the art of
that's a theory camouflage. That like the government can create weather, like they can make storm clouds and like tornadoes. That a theory? Like, there's like a weather machine.
Is that a subreddit? Because if it's a subreddit, then I don't believe that it's a theory. I think that it's just a crazy.
I've seen a couple of Twitter threads. You know, I've watched. There's a YouTube video out there. They got this big old machine. This guy's like, "Look at this tornado storm cloud I just made," and he's like explaining it how they do it with science. And I was like, I didn't want to keep watching because I was like, I might believe this stuff. That's how good it is, you know.
That's how convincing it is.
That's the only reason I'm not a flat earther. I just have never researched it, you know. But as soon as I do, I know I'm gonna be all about it.
In theory, they could make up all that stuff, and you're just gullible because you're not gonna research it after.
That's exactly what it is, you know. I love a good scandal, you know. So like, I would jump right into it. Like I'm on board. Damn, that's exactly how QAnon start, right? Right? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, well, welcome to the NBA Breakfast Podcast. That was your opening conversation, not about basketball.
Conspiracy theories, all right?
What was that? What was the sponsor for that opening segment?
Jet fuel. Buy it. It doesn't melt steel beams.
Okay.
It's been 20 years, bro. Like we could make these jokes. Yeah.
All right, let's get into hoops. First week of hoops was a fun week. We'll start with morning cup of coffee. All right, so the number one story. What's this segment brought to you by?
I just said it was brought to you by Jet Fuel.
Yeah, but this is a different segment. We're moving on to the next one.
Oh. Arnold Palmer's. All right, it's a little bit of what you like and a little bit of what you don't like. You decide which one is which. Arnold Palmer's. They're delicious.
To the listeners, Xavier doesn't write this copy. Like he makes this up off the top of his head, and that's actually pretty good. Like, if you were like he's making an Arnold Palmer right now. He's put it up in the Zoom for the YouTubers who are watching right now. You
can't stop laughing.
Like, if you're like Minute Maid lemonade, like you could totally use that as like an advertisement. They could steal that from you.
They could really
trademark it right now.
I mean, I can't trademark Arnold Palmer's. I think Arnold Palmer kind of has that on lock.
No, Arnold Palmer is a drink. Like it's a style of drink. It's not like a company, right?
True. You mean that jingle?
It's ice water and lemonade, or iced tea and lemonade.
Iced tea and lemonade, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really like iced tea. I'm not a big fan of lemonade. But I know some people who are like, I love lemonade. And I don't really like iced tea that much. It's like,
All right.
So, you pick.
So the biggest story of this week was Kevin Durant is back. That's at least the way we feel. Kevin Durant has just been fucking crushing it in the first 3 games of the season. He looks completely back to form too. So 22 points in the opening game against Golden State, 29 against Boston, 29 against Charlotte. 5 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 3 rebounds. He's shooting. Oh my God. Well, he only took 2 threes against Golden State because it was a blowout. But game 2 against Boston, 3 for 4 from 3, and then 5 for 7 from 3 against Charlotte. He's just fucking crushing it. And I was thinking about this the other day, Xavier. Yesterday, before we had our meeting. The Achilles injury has kind of been like a death sentence in the NBA for a lot of players in the past, like like Boogie, Wesley Matthews. There's more. I just can't.
I feel like Boogie still has a lot of good years left in him. I think people really discount him just because he's big. I mean, maybe he just needs a little bit more time than usual. But there's no doubt in my mind that man can still play really good basketball.
Regardless, Xavier, because in general, in the history of basketball, at least recently, the Achilles tear has been pretty much a death sentence for anybody in the NBA because it just doesn't give you quite the movement and the explosiveness that you had before. But that's never been Kevin Durant's game. Kevin Durant's game has kind of been like dribble, shoot, pull up shots, catch and shoot. Like he could just create his own shot off the dribble or off positioning. He's never been like all right, let's kind of move around. Let's find our matchups. Let's get the pick and roll and then let's drive to the hoop. Like he's not an explosive player. He's just like a versatile scorer. So like, I don't know why. I think this is why everybody kind of expected him. And I think a lot of the experts were kind of telling us like, no, he'll be fine. The way he scores is fine. But like, we didn't listen to it, the public, but it looks like he's making it work. I mean, especially with his jump shot, 3 for 4 from 3. I mean, fuck, that's fucking good, man.
This man scores at will, and defenses just try to mitigate it as best as they can. Like, he literally can pull up anywhere on anyone, and really nobody's putting up too much of a defensive stronghold against him. Yeah,
his game is so much like Dirk's game. You know what I mean? Like Dirk's the same way. He was never reliant. Like he wasn't an explosive player. If the Achilles happens to like Russell Westbrook or like Giannis, I think that's pretty dire to their career because that's their most of their game, their athleticism and their explosiveness. But a player like that who's a shooter, he's gonna be fine. And honestly, it makes me feel better about Clay. Clay's a similar type of guy. He's a pull up mid range and he's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. That's the way he scores. I don't think it's gonna affect him that much either.
I agree. What's also great about KD is that he's still very good on defense because he's so big and he can match up with, more ranges of players than, say other defenders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much of a presence on the court that you see the ball rotating away from him more often, and he's always attacking the rim. He's always open. That's why he's averaging almost 2 steals.
Yeah.
A game,
he's got a couple blocks in the season too. I mean, and this is what Draymond like made him this player. He saw his length. Maybe not necessarily Draymond. Maybe more specifically Ron Adams. But he saw his length and he's like, why aren't we using this guy to defend the rim and block shots and scoop up rebounds? And let's use the other guy, the shorter guy, to box out, which is kind of what Brooklyn's doing too, and it's working. His rebounds haven't been like crazy, but it's his defensive rebounds numbers that are like just off the charts right now.
Yeah, dude, Kyrie is complimented so well, KD, and we forget like this is Kyrie's like 9th year in the league. Like he's like kind of in his stride for real right now, and he's just coming off this injury. Man's got some hype to him, and he's going really well, averaging 29 points a game right now.
Yeah, Brooklyn looks like hands down the best team in the East.
They look unstoppable right now.
I mean, so news just came out this morning right before we got on, and Spencer Dinwiddie tore his ACL and he's out for the season. So that sucks. I don't know how that's going to affect their second unit because that's their main scorer besides Karis LeVert in that second unit. So I don't know if just they expect LeVert to kind of take over.
They got
more of that
Jarrett,
responsibility.
my boy Jarrett
Allen, but they need a guard help. I don't know. I think this just means that Landry Shamet just gets more minutes. I think that's really all it is, and Shamet can
That's
handle
exactly
that.
what it is.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, again, it's a second unit guy, so I don't expect it to be a huge like loss. But he was like a good 18 points off the bench, and like you got to find a creative way to replace that, though.
Yeah, so who they're gonna play next? They say they play the Hawks, and then who do they play after that? The Nets.
I don't have it up in front of me.
Okay, so next they play
Well, they can't
Memphis.
play the Nets
actually,
because they are the Nets.
You're right. No, they play Memphis, and then they play the Hawks, which I think this is gonna be a fun game. Oh, and they have one of those back-to-backs with the Hawks.
Oh, that's right. We'll go through that at the end of the podcast for the listeners, but
yeah, so which I think could be a fun series. The Hawks are undefeated right now, 2-0.
yeah.
And they got my boy Trae Young, who's just exciting to watch.
Bogdanovich, your boy, has not been killing it quite as much.
No, all my favorite players, they just never do any well. They just go on like weird streaks.
Who are these other favorite players that haven't been doing well?
Kelly Oubre. I was so hyped on Kelly. Yeah. I was like, you know what a nice addition to replace Clay, and then sadness.
We'll get into that a little bit later. Okay. So let's get into the smaller stories, the short stack. The Kings are 2-1, bro. The Kings 2-1. Wait.
I forgot to ask you before we move on. I forgot to ask you. Way too early to call. Are the Nets gonna win the East?
Yes.
Number 1 seed.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I agree. They're the best.
I mean, the Bucks got whooped yesterday.
Yeah.
But
the Kings, bro.
Kings 2-1. Buddy, ball, game, whatever Mark Jones said. That was a great call. But
the Kings are fun to watch, bro. The
Kings
super
are
fun to watch.
fucking so fun to watch.
They are an exciting
And you know
team.
what?
Like
Bogdanovich being moved might have helped him because Fox and Hield have had this chemistry for years. And I feel
they're
like
so good.
Bumping Buddy to the second unit last year and moving Bogdanovich up to the starting lineup affected that chemistry a little bit. And you could just see like those two guys just like play so well together, bro.
De'Aaron Fox
really do.
He just sees the court so well,
dude.
And he just always finds Buddy who's just ready to just score on somebody. He's just so fun.
And
they're just so fast.
Buddy's shooting opens up De'Aaron Fox's explosive like attacking the glass. You know what I mean? Like it's so great watching him just like run and just pick up those offensive boards and just put them back up is so much fun to watch.
Is this the new best backcourt in the NBA right now?
No, definitely not. What's wrong? What's the matter with you? How dare you?
How dare you?
Who do you think? Who do we think is the best backcourt?
It's honestly too early to call. That's why I asked you because it's ridiculous.
I know, but I like these too early to
call. The first week, everybody.
I like these too early to calls though. All right,
Lakers, they're winning it all. Lakers winning it all. I'm calling it right now. Week 1. Because if they do, I sound like a genius, right?
Let's discuss this. Who do we think is the best backcourt in the NBA?
I mean,
it's tough, right?
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's pretty loaded.
I think that the Wizards have to be in that conversation.
Okay.
Russ and
Brad
Beal.
and Russ. But I don't really like Russell's defense.
Yeah, but
I guess that doesn't. I mean, I guess it
offensive
should go
games-
into it.
I mean, I'm trying to think of any other better combinations that are at least healthy right now, and I can't think of them. Let's see. Miami Heat? No.
I kind of like Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
I like that. Actually, that's probably it, bro.
But they haven't been playing super well.
Kyle Lowry.
I don't know. I didn't really like how the Suns looked lately. Yeah. But maybe they just ran into the brick wall of the Kings.
The Suns are 2-1 too, though, man.
They are 2-1.
They beat the Kings yesterday.
Oh, they did beat the Kings.
They split the series, yeah. Oh, dude, it's Dame and McCollum.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes. The Blazers look good. They look really good.
It's Dame and McCollum for sure. I mean, I don't think that's even close. I don't even know who else you could put in that conversation. The Cavs are 3-0.
The Cavs are 3-0.
You want to explain that one?
Kevin Love, man, he's just unstoppable. So are the Magic too, and the Magic look good. They played a really good game against the Wizards, who look real good too.
Markelle Fultz is averaging 20.7 points a game, 4.3 assists, and he's 49% from the field.
They're a good team. Like
92% free throw shooter right now.
They're good. Like if Vucevic goes off, you know, and you have Aaron Gordon just rebound.
Like, I feel like they have like a decent amount of depth, but they don't have like a stud, dude. They don't have Vucevic is their only star.
And freaking, what are you talking about? Vucevic is their only star. They got Aaron Gordon.
Oh well, Aaron Gordon's like flashy, but he's not like.
And they got Mo Bamba. Let's not forget him.
Mo Bamba. I don't get what your obsession is with Mo Bamba. He's not.
Well, he's
good.
Just all right. I mean, he's a star in that everybody knows him. Oh, also my favorite
because a song was named after him.
Well, yeah, he's a star because of that. Everybody knows who Mo Bamba is. He might not play like a star, but name recognition, you know.
Okay. What were we gonna say?
I mean, and Markelle Fultz, like, that's a big three right there.
Yeah, but Fultz, I feel like, I mean, after 3 games, I don't think that's enough to submit him as a star quite yet.
Okay.
He was a first overall. Okay, you're just gonna.
They beat the Bucks in the playoffs. All right, 1 game.
You're still on this, dude.
Yeah, I'm still on it. All right, that first game was great. I'll never forget it.
But it didn't matter because your prediction didn't matter because they ended up losing it at the end of it, so it was completely pointless. All right,
I just don't like the Bucks. Everybody,
let's get into some other stuff. 50-point win, Mavericks over the Clippers. This was just so. First off, the podcast would like to apologize to all the listeners out there. We said we marked this last week as a game to watch, and it was the worst game ever. It was horrible.
You know how
Mavericks
I said
just
that
beat the shit out of the Cavaliers.
You know how I said it was a must-win that the Clippers beat the Lakers. Yeah. Was this a must-win to beat the Mavs after
their season's over? They might as well just give up. So to be fair, this was a Kawhi load management game, but still. So let's see what we got. Luka had 24 points. Tim Hardaway had 18. Josh Richardson had 21. Jalen Brunson had 11. What else we got here?
If you lose by a Virgil after benching your best player, does that make Kawhi a contender for MVP right now? I'm dead ass. Like, he wasn't playing and they lost by 50.
That's what makes it more fun.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big deal.
Paul George only had 15 points. He was 0 for 6 from 3, 3 for 13.
Yeah, everybody was bad. They had how many points did they have in the first half?
They had 73 points total.
Yes, and
so
they had 77.
Hold on. If the Mavericks just stopped scoring after the first half, they would have won by 4 points.
Yeah, that's the best stat I've ever heard. They literally didn't have to play the game anymore. Yeah. It's like having practice against like a supposedly contending playoff team, you know.
I can't explain that, man. That's just
do whatever you want.
It's pretty.
They dominated the whole game.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's just bad offense from the Clippers or good defense from the Mavs because the Mavs scored 120.
It was definitely both.
They weren't that great though. I mean, they were 49%.
It's bad offense if you can't score more than 30 points.
You want to hear what their field goal percentage was? 34%. They shot 33 threes and only made 4 of them. The Clippers.
You know what? And that's what I like is that they just kept shooting. You know, they're like, we're just down like 50.
Oubre? Is that what you? Is that
just
what
keep shooting. You know, because at a certain point, it doesn't matter. Like you can't miss that much. You know, like they got to go in eventually. Yeah, they just percentage wise, like
is that your advice for? Is that your advice for Oubre?
Kelly just only dunks. He's got a high percentage of dunks, low percentage of shots. Okay, I think it's 100% to 0. All right, so just stick to what you're good at, Kelly. Get by the rim, put it back in. All right.
The next story. No word on Harden yet. Just a lot of I don't know. He continues to be just a fucking mess. But he showed up the other day and played, and he had 37 points against Portland. Unfortunately, it was a loss. Portland is just too stacked. Overtime loss.
This man,
we don't really know what's going on. It's still just a shit show. Is it just me, or I know Harden's fat, but does he kind of look kind of yoked? Like his arms look like
I don't
thick.
think he's fat. Like
He's fat.
he's fine.
He's
He's
fat.
just a little bit bigger. He's a little bit older, you know.
Like
what I
his
mean?
biceps look like.
Maybe he's been working out
impressive.
harder than ever before. Also, like he didn't really have much of an off season.
You think he's
how
pulling
could
a
he get
Bryson
so fat?
DeChambeau, and in the offseason he just hit the weights?
Yeah, it just got big. You know, just was like whatever.
Don't
I can't
defend
do anything.
him. We saw him at parties, like he was just at a strip club a couple days ago.
He definitely was at a strip club, but he's also still really good. So like, how are you gonna hate on him? You know? Yeah, he put a lot of people's lives at risk for maybe going to these super spreader events, but like he could really shoot.
Just
kidding.
Okay. What? So you wanted to talk about the rookies?
No, I'm not done with this Harden stuff. So, do you think that Houston has really like put together a good team this year?
I think they put together an okay team. I don't.
Do you think, given how the West is right now, like, are they a playoff contender right now?
I mean, I think they just went toe to toe with the team that I think is the second best team in the West. So,
true, it's true. That's
I
very
have
true.
to give him some credit. John Wall hasn't really played in any games that I've watched yet, so I don't know how he's gonna, affect the offense when he comes back.
Mm-hmm. They've only played one game, right?
Which I think he's supposed to play today, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll have to check back in on that. Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, still good players. The rest of the makeup of their team is just so. I mean, I'm totally blanking. That's how like kind of depleted I feel like they've been. Let me see. Let's look at their roster right now. Let's play the roster peak game. I don't know. I just made that up.
It's like, does James Harden really want out?
Yeah, man. I'm looking at the rest of their roster, and it's.
Where's he gonna go?
Oh, Christian Wood has been killing it. I had him in Daily
Christian Wood
Fantasy
definitely is
yesterday,
good.
and he did work for me.
But where could he go? Like, where reasonably could?
Hold on. I'm looking at their second unit, and it's not promising. Ben McLemore, Sterling Brown,
Daniel House.
No, Daniel House doesn't play for them anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Are you sure? I'm not seeing his name on this roster, man.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, is he hurt? I don't know. DeMarcus Cousin.
Daniel House, forward, number 4.
Daniel House, okay. Like Eric Gordon's playing small forward right now. PJ Tucker at power forward.
PJ Tucker playing just out of his mind all the time.
I don't know. I just don't think they have the depth to like get them through the stretch of the season.
I just don't see.
They're gonna have to rely heavily on Harden.
And I don't think that they could really make a deal with any other team in the league that's going to be worthwhile.
But I don't think that Houston, they did that. I don't think they would be looking to still compete in the West. I think that would be kind of like them throwing in the towel.
Exactly.
And trying to rebuild.
So that's why I asked, like, do you think this is a contending team? Because if Houston believes that, like they're not going to throw in the towel. But if they realize, like, I don't know, 30 games in that they suck, and they're not going to be able to compete in the West, why not throw it in the towel and like, all right, let's get Harden out of here? I think this first half before like the trade deadline, I think it's going to be like a little study for them to see like, can we compete? Can Harden play at this level still? Do we put enough supporting characters around him for them to like seed at least?
I think with Dinwiddie going down, that kind of takes the Nets out of the running for Harden because the Nets would have had to package like Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, and like a pick in order to get Harden. So with Dinwiddie out, that doesn't really help the Rockets that much. I think that only leaves the Sixers, and nothing about John Wall and Ben Simmons playing together makes sense to me. They're the same player, just one's taller and one's shorter. Like nothing like I if I'm Houston, that's not what I want my team to be. I do not want it to be Ben Simmons.
What if you set DeMarcus Cousins with James Harden, and they got back Embiid instead of Simmons?
I don't think the Sixers want to move on Embiid. I think they're
of course not. I don't think there's anywhere Harden could really go. And I think Houston tried with the Heat.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, it was no trade that's going to happen. Like, the Heat didn't want to give up Tyler Herro when they had James Harden on the table. Like, come on. It just wasn't going to happen. And there's no other teams shopping.
Would
it
you
was
give
a
up
small...
Tyler Hero for James Harden?
Sure, definitely.
Tyler Hero
Like,
and Duncan Robinson?
Sure, definitely. And then you make up for those, 20-something points with James Harden, and you already have Jimmy Butler.
I really like
you have
those
Bam
guys,
Adebayo,
though, man.
you know what I mean?
think
I like those guys
I'd rather
too,
build
but you
around
can
those
offer
two
James
guys.
Harden. I like those guys too. But, and any trade has to be worthwhile for the Rockets. You know what I'm saying?
Can we think of a trade scenario in recent history, like the past 5 years, where a team has gone all in and just shipped out all their assets to get current stars to try and win? I can think of 2 failed stories.
I can think of so many, actually.
The Timberwolves, which was a failure when they gave up all their assets for Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers, huge failure, gave up all their assets to get Tobias Harris, Al Horford.
What about the Paul George trade? The Clippers giving up everything.
And they fucking lost in the playoffs in the semis last year.
Okay, but at the same time, all right, what about the Lakers gave up the house and they got Anthony Davis?
That's a good point. So that's the one success story.
And now you have James Harden. Why not make it another success story? I'm not saying it's impossible.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either, because who's going to want to give up their house right now? I know it is James Harden, but like no one is going to want to do that because there's all these. Oh, my phone just went off. Oops. There's all because all these failure stories. It's just not going to happen. And him asking for a trade, it's just like, hey, bro, there's no shot.
Maybe this is just my mindset, but like I would rather be good for 20 years than go all in for 2, go for a championship, and hope for the best. You know what I mean? Like, especially watching these past 3 Warriors games, like after the first 2 games, like just getting blown out by both those guys. The first thing that on my mind the entire time was like, why didn't we just let Kevin Durant walk? Why did we have to sign and trade and just take this massive D'Lo contract? That D'Lo contract totally fucked us. Like, it totally depleted our cap space. We weren't able to get, and now we're stuck with Wiggins, and Wiggins isn't doing shit for us. It's just like I just kept on thinking of all
Sometimes
that shit.
Things go wrong.
It was just driving me insane. Like, it was exciting last night watching them win, but again, that's the Bulls. Like, we beat them by 1 point. Like, I mean.
Such a scrappy game.
Yeah, like, and just watching
Oubre
and I mean, Wiggins had a great game last night. If he can keep, if that's the start of something, then great. But like, it's just so frustrating, and I don't know if I'm a Heat fan, I don't know if I want that.
Definitely not.
I think I'd rather run with
That's
Butler,
why they said I'm not giving up Tyler Herro for
Herro,
James Harden.
Yeah,
because they don't want that. Yeah. So now they're stuck with James Harden. The Rockets are.
Yeah.
Which is not the worst thing in the world. But are they a playoff team? And I don't think so.
I think with Harden they are, though.
I don't think so. I don't think they can break it in the current West. The West is good right now.
But it's a play. There's still the play-in tournament. There's 10 teams that go to the playoffs this year.
That's also super true, and yeah. I kind of always forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can go in as like one of those teams that's fighting, for the 7, 8, 9, kind of like how Portland was trying to get out of the bubble.
Yeah.
But I think like the top 6 seeds in the West are kind of going to be locked in, and it's not going to the Clippers. I think Dallas is looking real good. I think.
The Nuggets are 0-2, but they've had
the
2
Nuggets
very
look
competitive
good.
games. Yeah.
And the Jazz are looking good.
And of
course, the Lakers, of course.
Yeah.
Blazers for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Blazers look so good.
And then there's a handful of teams.
You got teams like Phoenix and Sacramento who look really good and are creeping in there.
Yeah, let's not forget Phoenix beat a lot of teams in the bubble. Actually, they beat every team. They didn't lose a game.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look right yet, but they're going to get there. You know what I mean? They're going to have a good run somewhere. I'm really hoping for them. Phoenix is so good. Chris Paul's.
All right. Do you want to talk about the rookies now?
Yeah, let's talk about the rookies.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. So, James Wiseman. fantastic. This
Just give
guy
him the rookie of the year now. Just give it to him now.
right now,
Averaging 18.7 rebounds, bro. Love it.
Yes, but I'm a little worried that he's gonna have too much of the workload in Golden State. You know, they're gonna start relying on him too much because he's so quickly becoming like such a fixture in their offense.
But he needs to be that guy right now because
that's exactly what he needs to be. Yeah,
because Oubre can't put it together. Wiseman's been draining threes, dude. He didn't know he could do that.
There's some hope in me also that something's gonna change when Draymond comes back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Something's gonna. This is not their final form. You know, like they suck, but just because this last piece is in it, hopefully. But I mean, I could be wrong. Draymond can come back in the exact same team. You know,
I would say that
they're gonna miss those shots.
I would say that they're relying heavily on Wiseman defensively, but when Draymond comes back, that's going to change. And I would say that I would expect Wiseman's rebound numbers to increase. I think he's going to have that defensive role a lot like Kevin Durant, where Draymond's going to take the big man, box him out, and that's going to free up Wiseman to kind of move around and just use his length to scoop up rebounds and shit. So
yes.
But offensively, I don't know. I mean, Draymond's not really much of an offensive player.
But he's a great passer. You know, he gets really good assists, and maybe he's going to find Wiseman open on a lot of situations. You know, so that's hopefully frees him up. And if they start going down low, them two, you know, maybe they could branch off to a good pick and roll for Steph, or find him in the corner, and hopefully they generate their offense a little bit more. That's what I'm hoping. But James Wiseman is looking like the answer right now, which is sick because Golden State hasn't had a great center in such a long time.
Yeah,
14 points, 5 rebounds. Dude's doing real well.
And on top of that, I've noticed, especially last night, when in the game when second half they started just kind of trying to draw fouls more than try to shoot. They're not really open for long shots, and I feel like defensively that's a scheme that a lot of teams have been using on them because they know that they have what they thought were 3-point shooters. Oubre, obviously, we've been talking about him all podcast.
And Wiggins
did good from 3 last night, 4 for 6 though.
He did do well last night,
and
he's gonna get better.
So I think that Draymond will change that situation, especially if he starts setting up and running pick and rolls with Wiseman, and Wiseman's scoring continues to score 18 points a game in the paint. Then you're gonna have to change your defensive scheme and start moving guys to double him when he gets close to the basket. So it's like maybe that'll free up some 3-pointers and
let's not forget
open looks for those guys.
The Warriors still have probably the best shooter in the league right now, Steph Curry. He doesn't look like
last night. He was struggling the first half, and the second half he just started.
Yeah, exactly
shots.
what I was gonna say. Yeah. So if Wiseman can just create a little bit more attention, you know, pull a little bit more space towards him, Steph's gonna make those shots. He's gonna get there. He's gonna get the range. It's just gonna happen. Like he just doesn't miss that this often. You know, he's gonna light it up. And with that, at least 1-2 punch, Warriors can win a bunch of games. You know.
Yeah.
They're gonna need a little bit more out of Oubre and Wiggins for sure if they want to make it in the West for sure.
So Wiseman's not the only rookie who's been killing it. Our number 1 overall pick looks really good.
A1 since day one.
Dude, Anthony Edwards averaging 16 points a game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists.
3 rebounds.
3 rebounds, sorry. And he it's not just that his numbers look good, but you watch their offense and he is efficient.
Yeah.
And he is flying all over the court.
Fast.
He has so much energy and my God. And he makes
Cat
it's
fun.
He helps out Cat a lot.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. They're fun, bro. I really like the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Xavier, it only took them 3 games for Adidas to sign Edwards to a deal. That's how much fun he is.
I think he had an interview that just went viral, and and they were like, "Oh, we need this kid for sure. He's good. He's great. He's so fun to watch." Did you see the picture? Somebody posted it. It was Randy Moss and Kevin Garnett, but they're wearing each other's jerseys. So KG has a Randy Moss Vikings jersey, and then Randy Moss has a KG Minnesota Timberwolves jersey. People were saying they should do that Anthony Edwards and the other rookie, Justin Jefferson.
That would be a good idea.
That'd be sick, right? And they should totally do that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Two great, exciting rookies. I got Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team.
Same.
We just lost the championship.
I just won the championship with him. So
if you're my friend and you listen to me, just shoot me a text. I'm in a bad.
Are you talking about friend
right
of the pod, Jackson Schlater?
I'm in a bad spot right now. I lost to Jackson. It's been a tough year, bro. It was a tough year.
Do we need to stop?
No, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm okay.
Because we're almost to our break, so you can cry during the break.
George Kittle, like just so many things, and just this is a basketball podcast. Let's not get into this.
All right. And then last but not least, our number 3 overall pick, not doing too good. LaMelo Ball, 6 points, 4 rebounds, pretty good rebound percentage. 3 assists. I don't know. He's had like 2 interesting highlights, and that's basically it.
You could tell he really wants to lead that team, but he's also like 19, 20 years old. So it's a little, he just he can't really take the reins just yet.
Yeah.
He's not shooting super well, but I know he can shoot.
No, he can't. That was the whole thing coming out of college. He's
gonna make these shots.
He was not a good shooter. Like his shot was worse than Lonzo's, and Lonzo's shot is bad.
But they can ball. They're the Ball brothers. Yeah, it's just not looking great. I mean, is it because he's in Charlotte? Maybe
I think it's just because he sucks.
That could be it too. Maybe it's too soon to tell.
Maybe.
No. The top 3 he's a bust. I just don't want to hate too much because their dad's probably gonna listen to the pod and fucking come for us.
I doubt that he listens to this pod.
I doubt it too. I'm gonna tweet out this episode. #hate LeVar.
Other rookies who have been what they've been. Killian Hayes not playing so well. Tyrese Halliburton not getting a lot of minutes, but
he looks good.
When he's been playing, he's been looking good. So I think that they could evolve into a 3-guard lineup at some point. I don't know why you wouldn't. Denny Avdia has been looking really good.
Denny looks good. Yes, I agree.
And I don't know. That's kind of really all that really.
I like this other guy who's also a rookie on Minnesota. His name is Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like him come off the bench. I don't know. I was watching a lot of Timberwolves games, and I saw him, and he's, I don't know, 6 points, average 6 points, but good off the bench. Really replaces with Anthony Edwards, like in the second team. I don't know. Minnesota Timberwolves, they're 1-3, but they're good.
I was really hoping to see Toppin yesterday, but he's been hurt, and I really want to watch him. He's gonna
Obi.
Just save it for the next segment because
who did the Knicks beat? They just beat somebody.
They beat the Bucks.
That's right.
Yeah,
by like really 30 points or something like that, or like 20 points.
He's gonna be out for about a week, so hopefully we can see him. Peyton Pritchard, remember I warned you about him on my podcast.
You did.
He's been killing it. And I think
110 to 130. Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Damn. 29 points. He outscored Giannis.
Yeah, he killed it, bro.
I'm not high on the Bucks. I haven't been high on the Bucks. Sue me.
I think that's pretty much it. Those are the only rookies that have been interesting. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come into our segment following this. We got two main ones. The first one is it has it's not really basketball related. It's more just Xavier thought it'd be a fun idea, so we're gonna play a game. Let's just leave it at that. That'll be the teaser. So stick around, everybody, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Again, we have 2 featured segments this week. One of them is Xavier's and one of them is mine. We're splitting it up. Let's start with yours, Xavier. So take it away.
All right. I'm gonna play a game called the Name Game, where I'm gonna go and make a bunch of funny jokes about people's names, not in a bad way, just in a fun way. Kind of started because I asked Chris last week about his other favorite AD, and we just couldn't think of one. And I was like,
KD.
I had to. KD, that's right.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of one,
But we found one.
and we found one. His name is Chris Dunn. And then in digging, I found another AD.
Yeah, okay.
Other than Anthony Davis, there's a Andre Drummond.
I can't believe we didn't think about him in the first place.
I can't believe it. But those are the only two ADs, and these are the only two KDs.
You really couldn't find any other AD? I feel
no.
Damn,
No other
wow.
ADs. Just, Chris
Andre
Dunn plays
Drummond?
for Atlanta.
Do you think they're brothers? All four of them? Because they share.
Initials? They don't even share initials. DeAndre Ayton is technically a DA, which is backwards.
So then 5 brothers.
Well, not exactly. Well, all right, there's 3 Porter Juniors and they're not related.
No, they're definitely related. The Porter brothers. And they're all named
Porter
after
brothers.
the same. They all have the same dad. He just has 3 names. 3 first names.
So he just impregnated 3 different women, and their sons just happened to all be stars in the NBA together, but they didn't know anybody, and they were reunited when they played each other on the court.
And he has 3.
They're like, you look just like me. Who's your dad?
Just like Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony is his first name. He has 3. His dad has 3 names. They're all hyphen, and it's what are the 3 Porter Juniors?
One time I told my little brother, he was like Roy Oswald Jr. or Lee Harvey Oswald, who killed JFK, and he was like, why does everybody who assassinates somebody have 3 names? And I was like, that's just all a big coincidence. Like anybody who has 3 names, like they're gonna assassinate somebody.
Oh my
And he was
God.
like, what? And we were watching a basketball game, and Michael Carter Williams was on. He was like, Michael Carter Williams. I was like, you better watch out. He's grown up and realized like that's not true.
Yeah.
But now I always think about 3 named players.
What was the look on his face? Was he like dead serious? Like,
He was
my
like,
God.
Michael Carter Williams, protect the president.
So what are the 3 Porters? What are their? Who are they? Who are the Porter
Michael
brothers?
Michael Porter Jr. Oh
Okay.
damn, I forget already.
You already forgot?
It's okay. Kevin Porter Jr., Michael Porter Jr., and Otto Porter Jr.
So then their dad's name is Michael Kevin Otto Porter.
Mhm.
There it is. Boom.
One's
and there's
in
also
Southern
Bobby
California.
Portis. So there's 4 brothers.
Portis is not the same as Porter. There's a Jonte Porter, and he's maybe not a junior. Wait, time out. If they're all juniors, that means their dad has 3 different first names.
That's what I just said.
Oh my God, I never really thought of that. That's
Like
insane.
Carl hyphen Anthony. So his name is Michael hyphen Kevin hyphen Otto.
Michael Kevin Otto Porter.
Yeah, junior or senior.
Is that worse
This
than
is the
George
stupidest
Foreman
segment
naming
we've
all
ever-
of his
this is
children George or Georgia?
This is the stupidest.
He had like
segment we've ever
7 kids, George Foreman did. And like
George
6 of them
Foreman
are
did?
named George, and his daughter's name is Georgia.
done. No, it's not.
Yes. Look it
I'm
up.
looking this up right now.
Do it right now. George Foreman. What are his kids' names? It's George.
No fucking. How does he call their names?
I don't know. He's got to have
Okay,
like.
so you're an idiot. Okay, Frida Foreman, Georgetta Foreman, George Foreman the third, Natalie Foreman, Isabel Brenda Foreman, Leola Foreman, Mitchie Foreman. Oh, you're right. George Foreman the fourth, George Foreman the fifth. George. Wow,
How many kids does he have?
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, I thought I was slandering
9,
Mr. George
10,
Foreman, but no,
11,
it's true.
So he had his first son, which was George Foreman Jr., and then he had a second son,
2.
George Foreman the third, and then he had his fourth son, George Foreman the fourth, and then he had his fifth son, George Foreman the fifth.
And then all his daughters just have regular names, except for Georgette and maybe
Frida, Natalie, Isabella, Leola, Michi, Courtney.
Oh my God! So that's like 10 kids.
So how do you think
11?
How do you think he went about like yelling his son's names? Like, hey, 5, 4,
You have to,
four.
right? You have to. You know, and you can say Junior, and then like.
Do you think Junior got called
Trey,
Junior, or was he called?
Called the third one Trey.
Two.
Nah,
Actually,
you
could
you already got the name Junior.
Yeah,
you know what
could
I mean?
you could get creative with this. You could be like, "Hey, Deuce."
Yeah, Cinco.
Hey, Triple. Cinco.
Hey, Quad.
Wow.
Honestly, 4 is not a bad name. You know what I mean? Like, it was a 4. Not much. How you living? You know, that's
I
I
don't agree with that.
Like 7. You think 7's a good name?
I don't think. No. I don't really like any like number as a name.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Like, what number are you? I'm 7, but.
So, didn't you want to do favorite 3 person with at
Yes.
least 3
What is
names?
your favorite person with 3 names? Juniors don't count. That's got to be like hyphenated.
Yeah. I get you.
Okay.
Hold on. Give me a second. You go first.
I'm gonna go with Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
That's a tough one though. I feel like that's a
I got a lot. I'll rattle them off. You can just tell me which one you like.
Yeah.
All right. There's clearly Michael Carter Williams, who started this whole bit.
Yeah.
What about Willie?
That sounds like a senator's name. He
It
should
does.
run for office one day.
He really should. I
Yeah.
thought he will. Though he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Willie Cauley Stein.
That sounds like a hillbilly.
Willie Cauley Stein.
Yeah. He's got a lot of
Yeah.
tattoos, so maybe he is one.
And then you already mentioned Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Which I think is just his middle name, right? Wait, is his last name Anthony
No,
Towns?
it's Carl-Anthony. His last name is just Towns.
Just
First
Towns.
name is Carl.
Oh, so that's the anomaly. Because everybody else is name and then 2 last names with the hyphen. He has 2 first names with a hyphen.
Yeah, so it's not just Carl, like it's Carl Anthony.
Carl Anthony.
Yeah.
I wonder if
I
everybody
met
call him
some
K.A.
people like that. Like I know like people like growing up that was like Michael Anthony. Or
Julia Ann.
That's a porn star.
Mary Elizabeth. Well, no, people would like have names like that too. Nope, it couldn't be her. You know her too? Oh.
What's your favorite film by her?
I don't know any names to any porn film.
Yeah?
Honestly. Yeah, so what about Contavious Caldwell Pope?
I hate KCP
To name a few.
just as a basketball player, so every time I hear that, it just makes me cringe.
I just hate him as a basketball player.
Yeah, because he gets paid like he has a really good agent, or he just has dirt on. I really think he just has dirt on Rob Manfred, because he always gets paid like a shit ton of money, and he's not a good basketball player. That's genuinely how I feel. It frustrates me. All right, keep going.
Okay, wait, I have one more bit. I forgot one.
You don't have more names?
I have more names. One. That's all
One,
the names I have. Toscano Anderson.
Yeah, Toscano Anderson.
Okay, I didn't have like all of the names. I just had a bunch. Okay.
Okay. Something Finley, the guy from the Mavs. Dorian Finley-Smith.
Dorian Finley-Smith. That's a good one. So who's your favorite?
I'm not crazy about any of those. You don't have any more?
No, that's all I got.
Oh,
Keita Bates Diop.
Oh, that's a fun one.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
And by favorite, it doesn't mean like your favorite player, just the favorite name itself.
No, yeah. I get what you're saying.
You know?
I'm leaning towards
All right, there's on the Kings there's a Robert Woodard II, and he's not a junior. He's a second. He makes it with the 2 like Roman numeral I's on the back of his jersey. And I think that's different. Cool. And I'm gonna count it as a 3 name. Because it's not a junior. Juniors don't count. Which leads me to my next segment, which is the juniors. There are 17 juniors in the NBA.
Yeah. There's a lot. I just found another one. Nikhil Anderson Walker.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
I think just as like hyphenating last names have become more common, there's just going to be a lot more in the league.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Anyway, so your other thing you want to do?
17 juniors in the league, including the 3 Porter juniors who are unrelated, supposedly.
Are you gonna like name all of them? Like, how's this gonna go?
Yes, I will. I didn't think you would ask.
Oh, well, now that you mention it.
There is Troy Brown Jr., Vernon Carey Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., Tim Hardaway Jr. There is the sun is peeking through. Hello, son.
Keep going.
Daniel House Jr., Jaron Jackson Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Kira Lewis Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr., my favorite, Larry Nance Jr. Technically, I don't know if you know about this one, but Kelly Oubre is a junior.
I did not know that, actually. So that's good to find out.
Kevin Porter Jr., Michael Porter Jr., who's probably my favorite Porter Jr., and Otto Porter Jr. But last but not least, Dennis Smith Jr. and Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about Gary Trent.
You know,
well,
kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of fathers who were like, I'm gonna give this great name to my child.
So a lot
and
of
then he goes on to become
a lot of narcissism happening in the NBA. Basically.
Oh, that's exactly what juniors are, just like George Foreman.
Well, juniors aren't that. Seniors are that. They're narcissists because they name their kid after them.
Exactly. Yes. You're right. Imagine being the junior and then being better than the person you're named after, and you're like, who's the junior now? No, I bet that never happens. Actually,
no, probably never. All right. Are you ready for my segment?
Yeah, go ahead.
College Corner, baby. Woo-hoo! So, for the listeners, I am a big college basketball fan. I watch it just as much, if not more, than the NBA sometimes. Only during really conference play, because that's when it gets interesting. And a lot of people, it's kind of like a hipster sport. A lot of people don't really like college basketball except for March Madness. So, every week,
I wouldn't say it's a hipster sport.
I would say
there's so much college basketball.
I mean, I'm not referencing it as a hipster sport in that hipsters enjoy it. I'm referencing it as a hipster sport in that not many people like it, but the few, like, it's a cult sport, I guess you could say.
I think a lot of people like it.
The few people that do like it are very hardcore.
It's just there's so many teams, so that like people who are fans of one team might not see that team like go on. You know, like there's so many fans of like all these different schools. It's just like everybody's just so spread out. It's not as fanatical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but college football, I feel like, is different. College football is the same exact thing, but their fans are like fucking massive and intense.
This is true. This is true.
So, hipster sport.
I'm not that big into college basketball in the regular season, but I love March Madness.
Yeah, you're one.
I just like to gamble sometimes.
So every couple weeks or whatever we do, we will have this segment called College Corner, aka Make Xavier's Bracket Great Again. So this is me.
I love the bracket challenges, and I always fail them.
This segment is for me informing Xavier so that he can make a educated, well put together bracket.
I was gonna pick Kentucky to win it all this year.
And also you, the listeners, who might not have that information. So it's funny you say Kentucky because Kentucky right now is on the rocks. They are on a 5-game losing streak. They do not look good this year, and they have a ton of talent. And the biggest issue, what we're hearing out of the Kentucky camp, is that these players are not enjoying playing for Cal. I don't know what it is, but he has lost the locker room. He just suspended his best player. For some reason, I think he like skipped practice or something like that. I can't remember. He constantly is arguing with them on the bench. It is not looking good for Cal. And apparently this is just how Kentucky basketball is. They're so intense. Apparently Coach Cal's in the hot seat now. And if he doesn't turn this around, Kentucky might be moving on from him, which is wild to think because of how much success he's brought that program. But this is just how intense some college basketball fans and programs are. Like, if you're not cutting it, like, we got to move on to the next guy. And they always used to say that Coach Cal in his heyday is bigger than Kentucky basketball. No person is bigger than Kentucky basketball. Not one single person. So, I mean, he's not even probably the best coach in the history of Kentucky basketball. It's probably Adolph Ruff. And again, if you can't make it work, that city, Lexington, is not going to deal with you. So that's where we're at with Kentucky.
What I know about
5-game losing streak, and they've lost to some shitty teams and some really good teams.
What I know about Kentucky basketball and Coach Calipari is that they've had a winning program for a while. And he's brought home some championships and some good big years.
He's only brought home one, though. Yeah.
Wow. They've gone to DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall.
That was with the no. That was with the stacked team of Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker coming off the bench, Willie Cauley-Stein. Off the top of my head, I'm totally blanking. But there was two other like stars that are in
Anthony Davis?
No. Oh, wait. You're right.
Did he win with Anthony Davis?
No. I thought he won with. Oh, you might be right. It might have been the Anthony Davis team. He made it to the finals, I think.
They've always had great teams. So many great players came out of Kentucky.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
All of my favorite players came out of Kentucky. So, like, I don't know. I guess he's only won one championship. Yeah, just drop it like it's hot, bro. Get him out of here. He ain't Coach K.
So do you think Coach K is bigger than Duke? I would say yes. I would say he's the one coach in, like, college basketball who's bigger than the program.
He went and coached Team USA and then still came back. That's kind of big.
I don't understand what you're trying to say there.
Well, like, because you could have won like NBA or something. He could have changed it. He could have done whatever he wanted, really, and he chose to stay. And like, I feel like that's important to like an organization.
Yeah,
to see that.
You're right. So it was 2012 that he won his championship. Anthony Davis was on the team.
The Unibrow.
Let's see if I can find the rest of that roster, because that roster was pretty damn good. I would like to know who was on it. All right, here we go. Anthony Davis. Oh. What? No way. This team, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, another 3-name player.
Hey.
Terrence Jones.
Triple name alert.
That's it. Wow. This team won the championship? Fuck. That's not great, bro. And
he didn't win one with AD. Didn't win one with John Wall or DeMarcus Cousins.
Here, listen to this team. I remember the Cat team was just stacked. Let me see if I can find it.
Carl.
Anthony.
Carl. Coach can't win it for us. Carl.
Hold on. Almost there.
They call Calipari Coach Cal, right?
Yeah.
Not because it's the C. That's right. And Krzyzewski. How do you say Coach K's last name?
Mike Krzyzewski. Okay.
Great name.
So you messed it up again. So good job.
How do you say it?
Krzyzewski. There you go. All right, Karl Anthony Towns, Willie Cauley-Stein.
Wow. Triple name
Devin
alert.
Booker. Triple double alert.
Triple name. Dev Book. Natural score.
Marcus Lee.
Really?
Yeah. Andrew Harrison is pretty good. All right. Anyway.
Marcus Lee was on the team.
Yeah, he won a championship.
Hey, anyhow, great. Marcus Lee.
All right.
He's in Italy right now.
Let's move on to the next thing. So this is especially for you. Whatever you do, you need to make sure in March you put Gonzaga or Baylor in the championship game in your bracket. They are
for sure
far and ahead better than every team in college basketball right now.
Gonzaga and Baylor?
Gonzaga and Baylor. Gonzaga just played number 3 Iowa a week and a half ago. Iowa is number 3 mainly because they have the best player in the country right now, Luka Garza. He was the player of the year runner-up last year. He's going to be the player of the year this year. He's just a dominant power forward who just completely controls all of the paint. He's big. He's strong. He's a massive force. And Gonzaga just beat the shit out of them. Like dominated them in the CBS Sports Classic.
What year is he?
He's gonna be a senior. He stayed for all 4 years.
Oh, so this is his last year.
Yeah, so he's gonna be entering the draft next year. He's a lot like the two best players in the country. The beginning of the season were Luka Garza and Remy Martin out of yes, I said his name right, Remy Martin, like the alcohol out of ASU. Both seniors. They waited till they wanted to play all 4 years. They're not very high draft stock though because they waited so long, but they're really good players. ASU is completely imploded though.
Why is that?
Lost some big teams. They lost
I'd much rather have a smarter player.
I don't know. I was wondering that too myself because like Peyton Pritchard this year, I felt like should have been like a lottery pick, but he fell to 20. You know what I mean? And Peyton Pritchard's like a really good player. He was
maybe because like that's like 3 years of your youth.
I think that's what it is. I think that NBA teams want to draft a guy young so they can kind of mold and form him into what they want their team to be. Whereas like at 22, you're kind of an established player, so you're just like taking what their skills are and hoping that it adapts well with your team. Whereas at 19 years old, you can kind of mold that to what you want it to be. And also that's 3 years out of their career. Like I don't, it's really weird. I never understood it, but like, yeah. Remy Martin, but anyway, ASU is completely imploding, but Gonzaga and Baylor, they are just so good. Baylor, we knew was going to be good again this year. They had 3 of their 5 starters return last year. Gillespie, I can go down the list, but I don't have it in front of me. Studs. And every team they played, they've looked like just dramatically better. So it's like there's Gonzaga and Baylor, and then there's just like a massive drop, and then there's like Iowa, Kansas, Duke, all these other teams that are they're good, they're interesting, but they're just not quite up that level. So whatever you do, listeners, when it comes to March, make sure you have at least one of these guys in your Final Four or in your championship game, because I'm telling you right now, you will go far in your bracket challenge if you do.
Yeah, definitely rooting for Gonzaga. Front of the pod goes to Gonzaga, and try and get some Gonzaga merch.
And let's give a quick shout out to our friend Kay Lucido, who goes to Gonzaga Law School.
Mm-hmm. Can't go to any games.
No, she can't. The one team, though, I will say that did well against Gonzaga last year, that is a team that I would say is up and coming this year, University of San Francisco, USF Dons.
Yes.
They're killing it this year.
They are killing it.
Look out for them in the West Coast Conference to make a run.
Yeah, it could be a little upset in the tournament. I hope we get a good tournament this year. I hope it happens, please.
I hope it happens. That's the only thing I really.
I think it will. I mean, I think the NBA has shown a bubble works well, and like it's March Madness. Who isn't gonna want to play?
I know, dude. That was the worst part about the pandemic last year was that we didn't get March Madness at all whatsoever.
It just happened. It was like happening like.
It was happening
right when
it literally right before the week of the tournament was supposed to start. Yeah. It happened, and it couldn't have been the worst. That was probably the worst thing that could happen. I remember the
all those contracts, whatever.
The last game that happened before the stop of sports for the pandemic was the Big East was in the middle of a game. So the SEC tournament and the ACC tournament had games that morning. They canceled them. The Big East had already started their second round of the Big East tournament, and St. John's was playing Marquette, and Marquette was like a 3 seed and St. John's was like a 10 seed, and St. John's beat Marquette. That was the last game that happened before the stop of sports in general. They're literally the last game that played. Let's see. Villanova's good. Wisconsin's been killing it. Look out for Wisconsin. The Big Ten in general is just a stacked conference this year. Iowa's in the Big Ten. Let's see. Illinois, Michigan State, Northwestern, Minnesota is 8-1. They've been killing it. So look, I would say you can't go wrong with any Big Ten team. San Diego State's going to be a good sleeper. They kept a lot of their starters from their stacked team last year. And yeah, I mean, the Big East is always good, but yeah.
College basketball.
Gonzaga and Baylor.
Love it.
So that's my my college basketball update. All right, so you want to do awards?
Sure. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come back to this. I'm taking notes. I'm gonna compile them over the weeks.
Yeah.
To make a good bracket, and we're gonna see how well my bracket does. I'll probably announce my picks in the coming months.
If you want some games to watch for college basketball, I can give that to you folks if you would like to.
No. With football and NBA, I got no time for college basketball. It's just not happening. All right.
Okay.
This is my day. I wake up, I watch women's volleyball, then I go watch ESPN,
Women's volleyball.
and then I see what games are on. It's probably some NBA.
Where do you watch women's volleyball at?
Oh, ESPN app, bro. They got it. They know what we need.
Is
all right,
it
we're
beach
locked
volleyball
down.
or regular volleyball?
Yeah. So they're in like New Zealand or like Australia or something like that, where it's like the seasons change. It's different. It's opposite. So they're in hot girl summer right now. They're just on the beach. Ha. Dig. And I'm waking up to that. It's cold outside with my jammies. Like, oh, boom. I'm just seeing buns in the sun. It's nice. It's a good time, good way to wake up.
You know what I'd love to have this coming 2021? Hot Girl Summer 2. Hot Girl Summer 1 was smacking.
It was smacking.
I feel like Hot Girl Summer 2 was put on delay because of the pandemic. So I would love it if we all got vaccinated and then Hot Girl Summer 2 just came out, just guns a-blazing.
I'm kind of worried. I think everybody's just going to go too hard. As soon as we're like, let loose.
And like babies are going to be made left and right.
I think there's going to be like a week long rager that I'm going to go to. It's going to like start like for one weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like one of those big weekends.
Yeah.
And then, they're like, fuck it. Let's just keep going. Just add 3 more days. So I can see it happening.
Dude, so
they call that a bender.
My Aunt Jerry, shout out Aunt Jerry, wants to do, because our family didn't get together for any of the holidays this year. She wants to do a massive like day-long party or weekend-long party where we celebrate every single holiday, and one person is
in charge of each holiday.
responsible for putting together that holiday. So like we always play football on Thanksgiving, so we're gonna start the morning with a football game, and then we're gonna go to her house and have Easter brunch because that's what we always do. And then and after that we're gonna do St. Patty's Day, which is mine. I'm in charge of St. Patty's Day, so we'll drink green beer and take shots of whiskey. And then after that we have Thanksgiving dinner. And then we do Christmas and Christmas presents and have Santa come and everything that night.
You gotta do Halloween. Throw in Halloween there somewhere.
We don't celebrate Halloween together.
And 4th of July. What about 4th of July?
Oh, and then we'll do fireworks after Santa.
Yeah. Come on, there's got to be more holiday. Just keep throwing stuff in there, all right?
Well,
are you Jewish? Just throw Passover in there.
What?
I don't know. I'm just trying to mix stuff up, man. That sounds like a great day.
Would be offended by that.
That's why I asked if you were Jewish.
I'm not. Oh, actually, I did 23andMe, and I'm 2% Jewish. It's pretty wild, right? All right, let's get into awards.
That's why I like you. Shout out to all my Jewish friends, except for Jackson. I'm just kidding. I love you.
Do you want to go first? I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you go first.
I have 5 awards. Okay, so my first one. Actually, no, I have 4 awards because one of these is yours. I forgot. My first award, I want to give an award called the Tight Tit Tip.
Okay.
If you guys have ever seen the movie Reno 911 Miami, one of the characters gets a tattoo of a person, and she goes into a tattoo store or place, whatever you call it, and asks, and the tattoo artist goes, "That is a tight tit tat," because it's on her boobie. So I'm naming this after that. Tight Tit Tip, which is a really cool tip. Buddy healed. Buddy fucking healed. He also gets the Iceman Award because he won the game. So Harrison Barnes shoots a shot, misses because he's Harrison Barnes. He never comes up big in big moments. So obviously he misses a shot. The opening game against who was that? Who was that team they played in opening night? I'm totally blanking. Doesn't matter. Okay. And he misses, tips off, and Buddy Hield just comes running, guns a-blazing, like nobody sees him. Chase down, tips it in, wins the game, runs into the locker room. Huge celebration. It was amazing. It was probably the best moment of opening night for the NBA. Actually, that wasn't opening night. That was day 2.
It was day 2, yeah.
It was fantastic. And Mark Jones' call of the thing. Mark Jones, the new play-by-play announcer for the Sacramento Kings. Go check it out. It's one of the best calls I've ever hit.
They're playing the Nuggets.
playing the Nuggets. It's best calls I ever heard. He just I keep trying to do it, but it's wrong. And he just goes, buddy, ball, game, Kings win. And it was amazing. So that's my tight tip.
I like that. All right. So for my awards this week, it's kind of a continuation of the name game.
Nice.
It's kind of something I stole from Jimmy Fallon too. Just like players whose names are like this, and I'll just fill in the blank and then describe this player's names. So these are players' names that a baby would come up with. All right. First one, Bull. It's what? What? The other one I have Bam Adebayo. All right, come on. You don't think a baby could just say that? I think like a toddler could just say Bam Adebayo, and you're like, is that a basketball player?
Well, there's something with there's a story with his first name where it's like
like I said, yeah, like you're like, yeah, I've heard a baby say that before.
Yeah. So his first name is Idris, or Edrice. I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically he had an issue where he couldn't pronounce his own name as a kid, so he just started calling himself Bam, like Bam Bam, and it just caught on. He pretty much called his own name as a toddler.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Baby did name himself.
Yeah.
I didn't know that when I made this category.
Because he loved watching the Flintstones at the age of 1.
So funny.
So his mom started calling him Bam Bam, and he was like, I want that to be my name. And
I got like a couple more.
Yeah, keep going.
You can keep rattling these off. All right.
Or do you want me to? Oh, names? Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
All right. This is an NBA players whose name is most likely also the name of a country music star. Miles Bridges.
That's a good one.
That's so funny.
It's so on point.
All right, this
Could
is
you
a
argue
basketball
that Willie
player.
Cauley-Stein could be one, maybe?
More or less? No, wait. It's way less than Miles Bridges. Like, if I was trying to make up a fake country music star name, it would be Miles Bridges.
Okay.
Player named after my favorite food. That's Dwayne Bacon.
Bacon overrated, bro.
Okay.
Bacon
Player who has least lived up to their name. That's Shaq Harrison. He plays for Utah. He's 6'7", but like 190 pounds. He's like half the size of Shaq.
Just because his name is Shaq.
And he's also a guard, But yeah, just did not live up to the name of Shaq.
Okay.
Shaquille Harrison. I mean, if you're going to name your kid Shaq and they're big, like, you got some work to do, man. That's a big name to live up to.
All right.
Do you know anybody else named Shaq?
Shaq Barrett. Shaq Griffin. Shaquille Griffin.
Oh, well, they play. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Shaquille Griffin is a.
Hey, wait, does he have one hand or does his brother have one hand?
Shaquem, his brother, the linebacker, has one hand.
Okay, they're good.
Yeah.
Are they so?
Yeah.
Different pod.
All right, is that it? Are you done with that?
That's it. That's my name awards.
All right, so I'm gonna give out. This is a honorary award to someone who we mentioned early on in this podcast. He is from our hometown. The Marquise Lee Live Above the Rim Award. So I'm naming this award because Xavier knows this. So in 2014 championship run, Willie Cauley-Stein for Kentucky. Marquise Lee is a basketball player from our hometown of Antioch. Marcus Lee from our hometown of Antioch went to our high school, Deer Valley. He led them to a state championship in 2013. I think it was 13. Yeah, 13. In 2014, he decided to go to Kentucky. He was like a 5-star recruit. Came off the bench for them. Their starting center was Willie Cauley-Stein. Willie Cauley-Stein gets hurt in the Elite Eight, so Marcus Lee has to start in the final. Or no, he gets hurt in the Sweet 16. Marcus Lee has to start in the Elite Eight game. This is a pretty famous game. He scored. What was it? I think it was 10 points.
Yeah, I want to say 12 points, yeah.
And 8 of them were off tips or offensive rebounds to tips. And after the game, someone interviewed. I can't remember if it was Coach Cal said it in his interview or if it was Marcus Lee said it in his interview. But someone asked them and said, "What do you think about?" I think it was Coach Cal. What do you think about Marcus Lee's ability to score points above the rim. And I guess their game plan going into it was that. And he said, Marcus Lee is the best player I've ever coached in playing above the rim, and we live above the rim. So this is the Marcus Lee honorary we live above the rim award.
I remember when they interviewed him and they had that little like interstitial and it was like Marcus Lee and it was like, where does he live? And then like colon above the rim.
Yeah.
I was like, that's sick too.
It was great.
Yeah, he was unreal.
So that goes to Rudy Gobert, who against Portland on the 23rd had 20 points, but 17 rebounds. 17. Yeah,
Big.
he lived above the rim in that game. He lived above the rim.
Is that the game where he missed that dunk?
Rebounds.
No, that was against the Kings.
Yeah.
No. I think that was the game where he went up and he thought he was going to get fouled. So he tried to adjust and then his hand just hit the rim and the ball went right over.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing the highlight.
I saw it.
He had 17 rebounds and it was badass. So he gets that award.
I'm just a Rudy Gobert hater, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Don't bring him up. Don't bring him up around me. All right. Don't bring him up. I don't want to hear that name around these parts. Okay.
Well, he's getting the award. It happened. It's in my book. All right, you're up.
Oh, I blew all of my awards already. You gave me the chance, and I just blew my load. I'm sorry.
I didn't know they were all going to be the name game ones. Okay, so my second award is the Toby Flenderson Most Annoying Player Award, which is obviously Kelly Oubre. He's driving me fucking insane. The guy is 0 for 23 on non-dunk field goals. He can't make a three-pointer to save his life, but yet he keeps shooting them, which I have mixed feelings about. I feel like he should keep going to try and get his confidence, but it drives me crazy. He shot 2 open look threes last night in crucial spots in the last 2 minutes of the game against the Bulls, and he missed them both. He is just driving me. And, Andrew Wiggins was also on this award until last night. He played himself out of not getting this award. Drive me insane.
That would be insane.
And then the last one is another Iceman Award to Damian Lee, who
he won that game. Got the Warriors their
crushed
first
it
win
with the game-winning 3 last night. Got the Warriors their first win. Clutch. He's been killing it.
You can tell he wanted to pass it
70...
into Curry. Yeah. And he had to make the decision to pass it to Looney and take the ball back. He realized what he had to do, and he took the shot. He made it. And that's what we want to see.
Yep.
It's confidence, baby.
And the dude's shooting 75% from 3. So I've started a campaign on Twitter. There's a hashtag and everything. Hashtag DLeague.
What is it?
To starting SG. Because Kelly Oubre has been terrible. So just move him to the bench. Let's bump Damian Lee up to the starting lineup. He's been efficient.
If you're Coach Kerr, do you want to take that confidence from Kelly Oubre already? He's got work to do, but if you already demote him, unless.
But I think it's best to take the pressure off him, and then he can kind of get his flow with the second unit, get some confidence going. And if he starts playing well, you move him back to the starting lineup. I'd rather have someone in there who's more reliable, which Damian Lee has been nothing but reliable, and he has chemistry with Steph, which is clear. Which is one thing that offense is insanely missing. You can tell that they haven't played together, so they don't know each other.
Damian Lee's played with Steph for a while.
And they're trying to put it together and trying to figure it out. I think that when Draymond comes back, he's going to bring some of that chemistry back together because he has played with Steph for years. But I would rather put someone in who has been playing really well and who has chemistry with Steph, who's going to have chemistry with Draymond too because they've all played together for a little bit, and just they'll gain that confidence with Wiggins and Oubre over time.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, please.
Let's hope so. We're getting Draymond back tomorrow, right? Tuesday?
Hopefully. We'll see. I know he's been trying to play, but the doctors have been telling him no. All right, so games to watch.
Yeah. We promise these are probably good games to watch. Probably. Hopefully.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton this week. Me and Xavier were kind of struggling to find some. But this is what we got. So tonight, Monday the 28th, Lakers play the Blazers. That is going to be a game. 7 p.m. on NBA TV. Check that out. By the time this podcast goes up, you might have not gotten this advice. So
you might be already watching it.
Yeah, hopefully people are just maybe,
CJ, he's averaging 33.5 points a game. This man's on fire.
Telekinetically, maybe they're getting the information from us. So NBA is doing something interesting this year with their scheduling. They're doing back-to-backs with the same opponent, which is kind of cool and it makes sense coronavirus-wise. So Tuesday, the 29th, and Wednesday, the 30th, we have a back-to-back Milwaukee versus Miami, the Bucks versus the Heat. 4 p.m. on TNT and then 4 p.m. on NBA TV the next day.
Oh, and I said there was a back-to-back earlier with the Nets and the Hawks, but it's 2 games in 3 days. It's it's New Year's Eve, and then they play the day after. No, it's December 30th. They get New Year's Eve off, and then they play the 1st. So even though it's not quite back-to-back, they're playing the same team and the same place, just a day apart.
And then Wednesday the 30th, we get Portland against the Clippers this time, another rematch. That's going to be on NBA TV at 7 p.m. Friday the 1st, I know the 1st is going to be a big college football day, but if you have multiple TVs and you want to watch basketball on one of them.
How many games are on New Year's Day?
For college football?
No, basketball. NBA basketball.
I don't think there was that many. I can't remember.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Typical day, huh?
10. Oh, wow. That's a ton of games.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule to go up. They're going up against I think there's like 5 bowl games total. The Rose Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl are both on that day, too.
Yeah.
Or is it the Peach Bowl? I don't know. So that's
but at the same time, the NBA they have to get these games in. There's just not a lot of time.
I know. So. That's obviously why they're on NBA TV and not like ESPN, because ESPN's programming is probably just jam packed with that.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last game is on the 3rd, on Sunday the 3rd, the Wizards versus the Nets, 3 p.m. on NBA TV. That should be a lot of fun. Russ versus KD again.
It should be fun, yeah. I think the Nets are going to take that one, but I just want to see them play together. Again, see them both on the same court. If there's any animosity. If Russ plays out of his mind, like he has been doing. But, I mean, he's been known to carry a team to a win every once in a while.
My sources tell me that they're cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
I can't really get too in-depth with it, but he is involved with a project that I am working on, and they've told me that there really wasn't any animosity. That's just kind of like the media blowing it up. But who knows? We'll see. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Good job, Xavier.
Thanks. I got a hot take.
Okay.
Blake Griffin to the Warriors. I want him.
Oh, you and Julio, man. This shit. Ugh.
Averaging 20 points a game, bro. 20 points a game.
So he could play 2 games and then get hurt again? Great.
If Kelly Oubre is just going to dunk all the time, we just might as well have like one of the most exciting dunkers do it.
No.
If we wanted a forward who just can't shoot, I like him. Let's get him. He wants a ring. We'll get him one.
On that note, we're going to end the podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week. This will be premiering on YouTube Monday night. That's so it's like a live stream, so you can join it live, and we'll tweet it out so you guys can hear it. But again, we're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube.
Should I watch those live with everybody? I'll give my live comments. We did this in my bedroom. Wow. I was there at least. Chris wasn't here.
What would that be sponsored by?
Black Forest gummy worms. They're the best.
Right.
Truly, there's no other gummy worms that are even slightly comparable. Oh my god.
Great. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. NBA Breakfast is an independently produced podcast as a member of the Bandwagon Fan Podcast Network. It is hosted by Xavier Gomez and myself, Chris Madrigal, as well as produced by us. It is executive produced and managed by me, Chris Madrigal, and additional thanks and producer credit to my brother Larry Madrigal for helping us create the idea of the podcast and designing our logo and graphic. It is sound mixed and edited by me. And one final big shout out to our boy Mitch Maines, who provided music for our theme song. He has some great music. Go check out his music on SoundCloud, Mitch Maines, Maynes. Thanks again for listening, and please subscribe to our channel We have new episodes coming every single week during the NBA season. Don't forget to tune in next week, and peace!